Hey guys, welcome back to Orms TV. Today we have something quite exciting for you. We have the all-new Fuji XF 200mm f2 OIS WR lens that Fuji just dropped. And along with Andre over here, we're going to do a little review on that, take you through some images, run you through the specs, so join us for that. Okay, Andre, so as we can see from all the footage out there, you've been using this lens quite extensively and on this shoot that we were specifically doing now.
That's right.
You just want to maybe run us quickly through the specs on this?
Yeah, so this is the first Fuji has brought out a lens of this caliber. It's a 200mm f2. So on the Fuji system, you are looking at about a 305mm with the crop factor bearing in that in mind. It's got 5-stop stabilization, which is a nice feature for a lens of this size. And also it has the focus memory, so you can lock in a certain position and save it to memory. You'll be shooting some birds, and then when you want to lock back into that position, there's a memory button on the lens and it will relock on that certain position. Quite popular with the Fuji gear is that it's generally light. This is only 2.2 kilograms, which is fairly light for a lens of this design.
Absolutely.
So also quite important for these kind of lenses, aimed for guys doing wildlife, doing sport, is that it's weather sealed. That's quite an important feature for the guys out there. The elements in the lens, we're looking at 2 ED elements and 1 super ED element. So if you're looking for ultimate sharpness, the clearest quality in the Fuji range, this is definitely one of the lenses you'll need in your bag.
Okay, great. So let's have a look at some of the images that you took and see what we can pick up from that.
Yes, so we went to a local skate park just up the road here from Orms actually. Took some of the guys out. Something that was quite interesting is even though we were in the day, there's a bridge over the skate park, so it was quite shaded. We were shooting at a higher ISO than we probably would have wanted to, but we got some nice shots to share with you guys. Something that I was quite impressed with the lens is the way that it kept its focus. It kept tracking on subjects. We almost have zero shots that were hunting or not focused, locking on the subjects. So quite phenomenal performance in terms of the lens focusing.
And sorry, you were shooting with the XT3?
We were shooting with the brand new XT3, one of my favorite cameras.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. So the first image we've got, funny enough, is not an action scene. It's actually a still frame from Nick just holding a skateboard, taking a breather. And even though this is aimed for guys doing wildlife and sport, I can definitely see guys doing serious portrait work actually using this lens. As you can see, it's going to offer you amazing definition and depth of field. It's going to give you that super milky background effect.
And the sharpness is beautiful.
Yes, when we punch into this image, it just keeps its detail. It just remains sharp. If we do punch into this portrait, when we do look at some of the specs, you'll notice I actually did not shoot at f2 or even 2.8. The depth of field is quite shallow with this big lens. So I was shooting this at f4 just to keep his whole face and maybe a little bit of his body in focus to get this nice portrait kind of effect. Yeah,
like the fine detail definition is beautiful. Like it keeps the separation on the strands of his hair, picks up the highlights in the eyes beautifully. Like
very
actually
nice
a very, very nice portrait lens. Absolutely. So let's move over to some more action shots and see what we get out there. So there was one shot that stood out to me. And that's this one right over here. I love the contrast in this.
Yeah, so this, as you can see, the sun is hitting from the back, which is quite difficult for most professional lenses even to keep focus, keep tracking on the subject. And as we zoom into him, you can actually see that there's almost no color fringing on him.
Correct. Yeah, very, very little, especially with the black of his jeans. The white on white as well, like you get good separation there.
And that's to do with your coatings, the super ED element is going to help a lot with this kind of detail.
It handles the transitions with all the colors perfectly. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's something that Fuji is quite popular for, is their color in their profiles. So you'll see the colors are nice and saturated and contrasty with this.
Absolutely. I mean, even with that completely blown out background, it still maintains. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, so for the next sequence, I'm just going to take you through a nice sort of like just a burst sequence that you did. So the first frame is actually out of focus, and I assume it's because you pre-focused.
Yeah, I was pre-focusing on the box. I know he was going to grind this from the side. So like we said, it was in a shaded area and the ISO was, I think, in the range of about 2000. So we were trying to get as much light into the camera as possible. And getting at about 1/320
So
speed.
So arguably a little bit too slow for what you're actually trying to do.
Slow, so it's you'll see some of his hands and some of his feet is going to be a little bit blurry in the shot. But I do like the sequence of this, and you can see the lens tracking and keeping focus on him throughout the shot. And then the one in the middle, this is the one that's quite nice and sharp.
It is, absolutely.
You'll see the whole skater in frame, nice in focus.
Yeah, in focus, again, good definition. You have a little bit of motion blur on his arms and hands, yeah, absolutely. But everything else, like the definition, you even still get the texture. You can, on his jeans and his shirt and all that. Very, very impressive.
Importantly, he landed the trick.
Yeah, true. After that, let's flip it around a little bit and look at an image where you weren't doing a burst, you weren't track focusing, you were literally just waiting for the trick to happen, focus and shoot and get it in. And you actually nailed it.
Yeah, we put the camera into single frame mode, and we wanted to see how quick the lens would snap into focus. And here you can see Nick doing a flip trick over the little vert ramp, and it's amazing. It's pretty sharp. It's nice in focus.
Yeah.
And I really like how this lens is snapping.
Yeah, so sharpness looks to fall perfectly on his board here.
Yeah.
Board, his hands are nice and sharp.
And we were using the full frame focus. It wasn't just the center point. So the camera was intelligent enough to know exactly where the movement was going and where to focus exactly.
So again, the shutter speed's a little bit low, so you still get a little bit of motion blur.
We're shooting still on about 3/20 of a second. But I think it's a perfect, nice shot as well. Overall.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I absolutely nailed it. Yeah, I think it's important to say that the area that we were shooting in was actually
very tight.
Yeah, and realistically too small for the type of lens that it is.
Yes,
but sometimes when you're in the city, you make do.
This lens is also bundled with a 1.4 extender that's in the box. It's at no charge. And for guys doing wildlife that need that little bit of an extra reach, they can snap on the 1.4 extender. You do lose a stop of light, but generally if you're shooting wildlife in good lit areas, that's 100%.
Exactly.
That's not going to affect your shooting capabilities too much.
So that 1.4 extender, what takes you up to just over 400 millimeters?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, which is actually that's perfect for wildlife. Yeah.
Yes.
And you effectively have a very compact 400mm f2.8 lens then.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So we've looked at all the images now. Is there anything else that you want to mention about this lens?
Yes, this is actually one of the very few bigger lenses that you can add a filter on top of the front of the lens. Quite an important lens, this kind of quality. You do want to get a high quality UV protective filter, and this does take a 105mm filter.
Okay.
You do want to protect it. You don't want to scratch the front element of this lens. It's quite a big filter, but they are available.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it about this lens, really. I mean it's a really solid lens, and it's the first time that Fuji's made anything like this, and they came out swinging, really. Like there is zero complaints from our side about this lens.
Yeah, I think for the first time that they're bringing out a lens of this size, and for wildlife and sport guys, they really hit the nail on the head. So I'm really impressed.
Yeah, I mean from my side, I would love to see them step it up a bit now. Maybe do like a 400mm f4 or something like that to maintain the size. That would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I mean, other than that, we were really happy with it.
Super happy with it. Super good.
Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us for this review of the Fujifilm XF200. We really enjoyed it. We hope you did. As always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We love hearing from you guys. And for more info on this item, or maybe if you want to pick one up, links are down below. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.